Chapter 9. Faith of a Beast. Flashback. Listen to me, you fucking beast, stay away from my son, understand? You are selfish, just like every other beast. You take away things and people that's not yours, things like you belong 6 feet under. Just stay away from my son. I stared at the floor the entire time Dad has continued to yell at me. He was so close I could have felt the moisture of his mouth on my cheek. Out in the distance I heard the front door open. "Hey Dad, I'm home," Evan announced loudly. "I'll be right down." He turned slightly away from me, then back to me once we heard Evan shut the door behind him. "Now you stay up in this room. I'm going to go spend some quality time with my son and I don't want you to interfere." Dad quickly moved away from my face and made his way to the bedroom door. Quickly he turned back towards me and barked out, "If I see you downstairs you're fucking dead." On his way out he slammed the door shut. As the hard cold tears rolled out my eyes, a super cold feeling took over my entire body as I mentally mumbled. But all I said, while asked, was, "Can we go on a picnic together?" After my frustrating shower and my insanely rushed way of drying off my skin, I quickly slipped on a pair of underwear and collapsed on my bed face first. With my eyes shut I began to wonder what it would have been like if Evan and Dad were nice to me. We would go shopping together, eat out in awesome places like Pizza Hut, but most of all we would be smiling and laughing together all the time like one of those families on TV. As sleep began to take over my body it was soon shooed away by a loud thud that came from downstairs. Reactively I got up and went out the room to see what it was. Not wanting Dad to see me I quickly crouched down and peeped through 2 of the banisters. It took me a second to adjust into a comfortable position. Once done I saw Evan laying over Dad's stomach as he was flat on his back on the floor laughing out loudly. "Evan, you cheated. You're not supposed to take the beam out," Dad protested while laughing. "How am I supposed to know that? It was sticking out and I saw an opportunity to win." Dad bursted out laughing again like if he was going to lose his mind. "So you destroyed the game just so you could win?" "Yes, it's called the 'if I can't have it then you can't have it either' approach." After I saw that there was nothing to worry about I crawled my way back into the room without making a sound as I shut the door silently. Once the door was closed I pressed my back against it as the scene I just saw replayed in my head. Bang bang bang, bang bang bang, "Open this fucking door." The sound of Dad's voice ran throughout my head which made me popped out of my sleep. As I struggled to kick the sheets off of me his banging and yelling continued. "You better open this fucking door or I will kick it the fuck down." Unable to get to the door in time it jolted open scaring me back onto the bed. "Didn't I said to open the fucking door?" he snarled out. I tried, but I was tangled up in the sheets," I nervously answered. "What type of fucking excuse is that? You know what, I'll teach you something good. Good thing Evan ain't here tonight to see your unmannered ways." Instinctively I tensed up not wanting him to hit me. I quickly rushed out of the bed as he came forward, but my legs were still tangled in the sheets which caused me to fall, hitting my chest first on the floor with a loud slapping sound. My mind spun as the vibration ran throughout my body. Through blurry vision I saw Dad coming closer to me. "Please, don't hurt me. I didn't do anything wrong. I did what you said to do. I stayed in my room." Once Dad was over me he bended over and picked me up by the throat. I fought his grip as he brought me closer to his eye level. "Everything about you is wrong. I have a feeling because of you and your selfishness, Evan would suffer greatly and do things he shouldn't be doing. You don't deserve nothing in this world and I will make sure of that." My body began to shiver from his harsh words and the scent of his alcohol-enriched breath. Please stop. I'm sorry, please stop," I begged desperately. "Oh, you sorry? I'll teach you something good right now." Dad immediately released his grip from my throat which made me fall to the floor hard. I landed flat on my back, instantly after he stomped me hard on my chest and pinned me down on the floor. Frozen in pain and fear I looked up at him as he unbuckled his belt and wiped it out into the air. "I want to hear you scream like the fucking beast you truly are." Dad wasted no time and immediately began. The sounds of my screams filled the room as Dad rained down blow after blow with his belt. End of flashback. Thank goodness my shift is finished. I wonder what Evan is doing. Probably watching TV while eating corn chips. As I made my way back to the level that our room was on with a smile on my face as funny stuff with Evan ran through my head, I noticed that most of Boss's personal security guards were heading into the private elevator which leads straight into his office. I wonder what's going on. The boss probably has an important business deal. I wish Plidgy was here. I miss him so much. My chest hurts. I wonder if I should tell Evan about him. Maybe it's too soon, plus Evan might be mad that I drug him and sneak away to be with Plidgy. As I got to the door, I noticed that door was open wide enough to let Bugs in. I softly pushed the door open and poked my head in. Evan, are you in here? I asked nervously. I heard him moan to answer, which made me calm down and walked into the room relaxed. Once and I saw him stretched wildly on his bed. Did I wake you up? He quickly sat on the bed and turned towards me. Nah, it's okay, was just relaxing. I'm just happy I'm off today and tonight. So it's just you and me. I'm happy now. Evan erupted with laughter at the goofy grin I had on my face. You hungry? I was thinking of putting 2 pizzas in the oven. Wanna help make 2 smiley face pizzas with the toppings? I gave him a nod with a smile. There we go, that should be the most tastiest comedy and tragedy faces when they're done. Evan giggled as he shut the oven door. As he stood up straight, I couldn't have helped but to stare at him. Evan was wearing a fitted black and gray boxers with a black fitted fishnetted wife beat, with long gray tube socks on his feet. His skin has lightened up a lot since we've been living and working here, and with no more bruises on his body and face, all his handsome, cute and mature features were really showing. His afro has gotten bigger and even more fluffy as the sides laid on his shoulders. Timothy, you okay? You're just sitting and staring. You having a stroke? I quickly shook my head and immediately rushed into him and hugged him tightly. I began giggling into his belly as he hugged back. I'm just happy, just don't. My throat began to cringe as tears built up in my eyes. I just want you to never leave me, and I never want to be alone again. I would never leave you, I made a promise, remember? I quickly pulled out of his belly and looked up to him and saw that he was looking down at me smiling. I'm sorry, really sorry, but I haven't been honest lately. I wanted to tell you, but at the time it didn't seem right, but the pressure of not telling you has been making me feel sick. Instinctively, just like when it was with Dad, I dropped to the floor and started to beg for forgiveness. Please, I'm sorry. Please don't leave. Please don't leave me. It's just that I didn't want you to get hurt because of me anymore. Suddenly I felt Evan as he crouched down and drew me into a hug on the kitchen floor. Calm down. Please be calm. Tell me what you're talking about, and what you mean you didn't wanted me to get hurt? Evan asked softly. What the fuck, in hell's deepest and hottest pits? I sat on Evan's bed as I watched him stomp from left to right. He moved back and forth from the bathroom to the kitchen as he cursed out loud. I just sat there with my head down as tears flowed down my eyes. I am sorry, I really am. Dad was right about me, I am a beast. I managed to whisper it out, but Evan wasn't fazed by it. He just continued on his venting in the kitchen. Subconsciously I was dragged to the back of my mind as I softly heard Dad's voice. You wanted a happy family with just you and Evan, but all you did was caused him pain and hardship. Just look at him. I looked up at Evan and saw only pain and hurt on his face. You see that? You caused that. My little baby boy is in pain because of you. I should have killed you when I had the opportunity. If you have any type of humanity in you, you would do it yourself. I lifted myself off the bed as everything in the room went dark and blurred out of view with only the bathroom door in sight. I slowly made my way into the bathroom and closed and locked the door behind me. If you're really going to free yourself from my son, then take the razor blade that's in the cabinet over the sink and drain your arms into the sink. Let the evilness that's in you drain out along with you. Immediately I did exactly what the voice said. The fantasy of Evan and you being a happy family would never happen. I'm not meant to be here. All I'm doing is hurting Evan with my selfish actions. I wanted him to always be with me, to be a family, but I did was caused him pain. As tears poured out my eyes, I lifted the tiny blade up and placed it over my forearm. I slowly took a deep breath in and quickly made a stab downward, piercing the skin. The moment I started to slice upward my arm, a loud bang was made on the door which threw off my focus. Immediately after, another bang was made, and with it the door instantly fell, which frightened me, causing me to fall backwards, hitting my butt hard on the bathroom floor. I quickly looked up and saw Evan standing there on the bathroom door. Are you fucking serious right now? He screamed out in rage and sadness. Please just let me go. Because of me you're going through all this. Because of me we are here. Tears filled my eyes as it fell down my face. Every day I wanted us to be a family back then, and now that it's just the two of us I wanted more than anything, but because me and my selfishness and stupid ideas of having happiness for myself just gave you more troubles. I sat there with sore throat as tears burst out my eyes like two raging waterfalls. I lowered my head as the darkness of silence echoed throughout my head. You made me a promise. Do you remember it? Evan broke the silence. I quickly looked up at him. He had his head bowed. Huh? I mumbled out confused. You made me a promise. Do you remember it? Still looking up at him confused through teary eyes. You promised me that you never leave me again. You promised, and look at you, you're in here trying to leave me. His words bursted out of him as he looked straight at me with a wet face as tears poured out his eyes violently. I sat there frozen in shock for a few seconds before I knew it, not longer after I mustered the strength to leap forward onto him, which knocked him down onto the floor back into the bedroom. I'm sorry. I hugged him tightly around his neck as I whispered my words into his ear. I'm sorry. I love you, I really do. I don't want to be left alone or live without you. I cried. I'm sorry too, for getting angry in front of you without explaining myself, and for making you feel I was angry at you. I quickly released his neck and sat up on him. You're not angry at me, but I gave you drugs that knocked you out, I sadly pointed out. I know, but you wasn't doing it out of bad intentions. Come get up and let's eat, I'll explain everything. I stared hard at Evan as he was eating his last slice of pizza. You see, every time I came home bruised or tired, it wasn't because of sexual deeds or from the boss, it's because I had gotten into fights with some of the other boys. To show them that I wasn't a pushover, sometimes a few of them would gang up on me, but I would still manage to overpower them. I looked at him blankly before uttering. What the fuck, really? Excuse me? Evan tried to cover up his smile but failed. Daniel and Matthew said that you were being beaten because you wasn't letting me do my job, I noted defensively. They lied to you so you could do exactly what they wanted. One of the main reasons I didn't wanted you go up to the higher levels of the hotel was because of Plidgy. What? Why? I felt my head scrambled when he said Plidgy's name. He wanted to have sex with me just because I kinda look like you to him. You should also know as well, since we've been here I've never had sex with anyone, not even the boss. He wanted to, but I kept my ground. I'm angry because you've been deceived in one of the worst ways possible. I sat there as tears began to roll out my eyes. Timothy, promise me you will stay away from Plidgy. I have heard him talking to the boss. He wants you for himself as his personal slave. Please, I can't lose you. You're all I have. I looked at Evan as tears flowed freely down his face. What are we going to do? I asked worriedly. We could leave, he stated firmly. Leave to go where and with what money? Evan quickly got up and dashed to his bed and back. He was holding onto a small black bag. I've been saving up my tips. I have at least $2,000. That's enough to get us to a next state by bus and have a lot remaining. He exclaimed proudly. But how are we going to leave this place? There's security all over, I asked frantically. I have that all planned out. Just follow my lead tomorrow morning and we shall be free. Evan and I spent the whole day crying and laughing and planning our futures together. As he tucked me into bed, he would playfully tickle and pinch my sides, causing me to burst out laughing. Stop please, I can't breathe. Okay, I'm done. Just when he was about to get up I pulled down on his arm. Can you sleep with me tonight, please? I asked softly. Okay, I will. He quickly hopped behind me on the bed and wiggled his way under the covers with me. Once he was comfortable I pushed myself into his torso as he wrapped his arms around me tightly. I would like to stay like this with you forever, Evan, I stated softly. Really, I kinda feel the same way, he uttered softly as well. I would never leave you, Evan. Good night. I wouldn't leave you either. Good night. I awoke the next morning with the sun shining on my face. Why is the sun so bright in the morning? Wait, what? Morning? Evan? I sprung up from the bed to open my eyes and find myself in a different room completely. The bedroom was huge and I was on a huge bed. I was sitting up in the center of the bed while I was surrounded by big pillows. Suddenly I heard a door opening and turned to view, hoping it was Evan. I asked loudly. Nope. My body went cold and rigid when I saw Plidgy standing there.